Welcome to Jen's Daily Dish. Today we're going to be making my all-time favorite cookie. I called them jelly cookies growing up in New York, but they are really called Italian cookies. It's that buttery cookie with the chocolate at the end and the rainbow sprinkles. I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? I can't make those. Oh, yes, you can, because if I can do it, you can too, and I mean this sincerely and truly. You will see my amateur pastry skills in the rest of this video, but in the meantime, just keep in mind that raspberry jelly chocolate rainbow sprinkles. These are the cookies, they're all that I need, and then I will feel so glad, and so will you for making them. Nori wants me to remind you, preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Nori is equally excited about these Italian cookies, or what I call jelly cookies, but I'm only making a half batch because I will eat them all in one sitting. So I will be making a dozen cookies instead of 2 dozen. So if you would like to make 2 dozen cookies, go ahead, follow the recipe as is. Otherwise, I'm cutting it in half. Isn't that right, Nori? Will I eat them all? She says yes. Let's get this party started with 1.5 sticks room temperature butter. This is 12 tablespoons of butter. 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon salt, cream until light and fluffy for about 4 minutes. Now add the baking powder and the flour and mix on low until just combined. 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1 3/4 cups of flour. You could do this part by hand as well. Have you clicked like and subscribe yet? If not, don't waste any time. Do it right now. Right. This is the part where you will see for yourself, and I will prove to you that I am not a baker, and I really did no baking prior to March, and that if I can do this, you really can too. I'm going to be putting it in a pastry bag and making shapes. If you've watched my other videos, you will see that I am not good at this. Did you watch the spiderweb fudge brownie episode? Because, yeah, it exhibits it for you really, truly, that pastry skills is not one of mine yet. That said, I still make it work, and you can too. Use a star tip, something like this. I've used one that is a closed tip. I've even shaped the dough into balls. If you don't have any of these pastry tips, you could use a Ziploc baggie or whatever you have. I am sure there is a better way to do this. So leave me some notes in the comments of what I'm doing wrong here, because I would love to know. Best to make 2-inch long strips. Again, you will see that I am not an expert at this, so would love your tips. the second row, I'm going to change it up a bit because I have certainly had cookies, these Italian jelly cookies, that are thicker. So you can double it up like that. And it may not be picture perfect, but it will taste just the same. And isn't that what it's all about? Take your cookies and put them in the freezer for at least 5 minutes. It helps them retain their shape better once they hit the hot oven. Took them out of the freezer. They are cold and ready for the oven. Bake for about 15 minutes until golden brown. Time to take them out. Oh, nice and golden brown. Leave them on the cookie sheet for 3 minutes, and then we're going to remove them and take them to the wire rack for them to cool completely. 3 minutes are up. You'll notice that some of my cookies kind of stuck together. That's okay. We're going to separate them, and they will still be delicious. You'll also notice in my oven, strangely enough, the cookies to the back left did not get as golden brown as those moving forward. And these cookies got a little bit crisp around the edges, but they will still be delicious. So let's move them now to the drying rack. Let them cool completely, and then we get to put the raspberry jam on it, the jelly of the jelly cookies. Yes! Now that they've completely cooled, we're going to go ahead and put the raspberry jam on them, which I have kept in the refrigerator nice and cold. Put about a teaspoonful on each cookie. You don't want it to be too thick. I know. I love the jelly in the jelly cookies because it mixes with the butter cookie and then the chocolate and the sprinkles, and it is just perfection. But resist putting too much jelly on, otherwise it'll ooze out, and well, it's never good. Okay, what you want to do is to try to find mates, cookies that will match up most equally. So like these two pieces, they seem a little bit wider, so I'm matching those two. These two seem fine. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our pairs. Let's start with this one. So again, these are the bigger sized jelly cookies. And just spread it on. Moving on to the next cookie. The freezer is your friend for this recipe. These are going to go back in the freezer for about 5 minutes because after that, they're going to come out and get dunked into hot, delicious chocolate. While your cookies with the jam are in the freezer, let's go ahead and melt the chocolate. This is about a half cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you can use whatever chocolate you like. I like it with semi-sweet. Add in a half to 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil. Stir together. And then we're going to microwave it in 30-second increments until it is completely melted. And by then, our cookies in the freezer should be nice and cold. Now the best part. We get to use a plate of rainbow sprinkles. Yes, sprinkles, my favorite. Okay, let's start. See, they're sliding around a little bit, so just hold it firmly. And we're gonna dip it in the chocolate, one side, the other side. Ooh, yes, yum. And then we go one side, sprinkles, sprinkles. Sprinkles, sprinkles. Don't miss out on those sprinkles. It's okay if some of the chocolate falls in there too. It's all going to be super delicious and pretty. Look at that. Look at that. If you have the restraint in you, wait until the chocolate completely cools. You can also stick them in the refrigerator to help along the process, because who doesn't want to taste these sooner than later? I do. I do. I just want you all to take a really good look at these delicious cookies and how professional they look, and delicious and good and scrumptious and yummy and everything under the sun, even though my pastry skills are terrible. Let's try one. All right, let's take a closer look. So you'll see that the rainbow sprinkles are evenly distributed among both sides. It is a nice golden brown on the cookie, and it was in the refrigerator, so it's a little cold. And it didn't get too golden brown. It looks pretty perfect. See the cookie on the side? There's only one thing left to do. You know what it is. Let's taste it. Here we go. All right, let's try the side with just the raspberry jelly first, which you see right there. Yay! I was not lying when I said this is one of my favorite cookies. I don't even like raspberry jelly by itself, but for some reason inside the butter cookie, it just makes it. It's a little bit cold, so if these were room temperature, they would be, there is a little bit of give in the cookie, as it should be. And now let's try it with the chocolate sprinkles. Oh, I think this is going to be messy. Oh boy. That is pure heaven. Pure heaven in a cookie. The sprinkles mixed with the chocolate and the buttery cookie and the raspberry jelly on the inside. So good. If I can do this, you can too. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. And I'd love your comments too. Let me know what you think. The recipe says that you can keep these in an airtight container for a week. Who are we kidding? A week? I'll be lucky if these last, 3 hours. They're that good.